Here she comes. Here she comes.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, darling. Oh, look at
Nice
your
to see
cozy
you.
spot.
Yes,
Ah.
little cave.
So I had this fun song, and I don't know if it's still here, but it was from like a old rock song. Randy, she is here to share with us her wisdom. Whoa, 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 for the HD community and such. Do you remember that original
I
song?
I think maybe it's not Brandy though. It's something
No.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It just came
We
in
should
this
get Dave.
morning. Yeah. Go ahead.
We should get Dave and Sean to Dave to do a guitar little hook and Sean to put some beats behind it.
That would be so fun. That would be so fun. I put the recording on because I love that original. And
Me too.
honey, I love you so much. Like I'm feeling that fountain again of how much I love you. You're just such a what? Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Yeah, yeah. It's like ah,
oh,
ah.
and to be loved by you is pretty astounding as well.
Thank you, honey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad this was a yes for you. I'm glad it was a yes for me. I'm glad all the things. So
Me too.
more
Me
tears may come,
too.
and that's what's here.
I love you.
Ah, ah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Did you go mute,
Mm.
honey? Oh, right, you're back. Oh, there was a little bit of a silence moment.
A thing. Well, I was looking into your eyes and sending you my love.
Ah, I love it. I feel it.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yay, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Okay. Let's go back to the first line.
I miss that hat. I'm just gonna say I'm having a feeling of grief over this
Oh,
hat. I
over this
love
head.
that. Yes, and
Oh,
I lost it on a bus in Paris. I mean,
oh.
quite a story, but I miss it so much.
I love the story. Like, let's start there.
Well, it was my 44th birthday, and I was coming out of the forest after meeting my human design twin and spending 12 days with her in a forest with no running water, no electricity, in a ruina built in the 1400s in the center of France.
Whoa.
We had the most magical, mystical coming together. We got tattoos. I am fire and earth, and she is air and water. We have the same design, but come to it from two different places. So I was full of the spirit and
Ah,
just mystical knowings when I was getting myself home. And I just ended up leaving like a Hansel and Gretel trail of all of my things from France to America. And this hat
ah,
was one of them, one of those things that just got left on the bus at the seat
right,
next to me in Paris.
right. Okay. uh, I don't know what this is, but then I'm having this moment since you said Hansel and Gretel, and everybody I cry when I'm around Brandy because she's such a powerhouse of love. But I'm getting this image of like the person who took the hat and like the cartoon, and they're like, ooh, like whatever wisdom you were embodying and feeling and manifesting through was like, ooh. And like
Oh,
what that journey could be still, or maybe it got passed on to somebody else. Yeah.
oh my goodness. I hope it is on the head of adventurers all around. And I
Yeah.
hope it gets lost over and over and over again.
Yeah. And maybe that's a nice segue of me asking the question if you feel a want to speak about it or a willingness to talk about it, is how you've incorporated or how Wisdom Keeper is a component of how you work with people, how you reference yourself. Because to me, that's tied to the hat. Don't know why.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Um, so Wisdom Keeper, this is very close to my heart. This is an emerging just like any manifestor, it's emerging.
Mhm.
And what Wisdom Keeper is to me is the self-awareness, the understanding of human design, or whatever modality helps your brain understand why we move through this time and space,
Mhm.
combined with the integration, the full body mystical experience of being energy and form. And a wisdom keeper to me is someone, and this program that I offer is a mix between analyst training and psychological coaching. So I'm training in LYD, ABC, rave cartography. I'm training in all of the wisdoms that will help community leaders hold space for the people who come to them.
Mm.
We know that, in my Wisdom Keeper cohort, I have almost all transpersonal profiles, fours, fives, and sixes. And they have all come to me knowing that they have people coming to them and they're
Mm.
not sure exactly how to hold space for these people and
Wow.
their awareness. So I've created the Wisdom Keeper program to where they can hold space for the people that are coming to them. And they can help recognize and identify some of the just wounding that we all go through as
Mhm.
human beings, and why and how we stay away from following our strategy and authority, and then to give some therapeutic intervention tools to help them move through some of that inner child wounding in order to hear the wisdom of their body better. So I help community leaders learn how to hold space for other people to come in and do this. Um, we
Wow.
talk about we talk about the different lines of the profiles and how each of them show up in their wounding and in their exalted magnificence, and how to recognize the change in energy frequency when someone comes to you as their inner child versus their
Mhm.
self-aware self. And so we do practices and exercises. This has been a year-long mentorship
Mm.
where we are getting to know the frequency of human experience and how to be an ally, not a guide, not a guru, but an ally, someone who locks arms with you and walks with you forward.
Beautiful.
That's what wisdom
Beautiful.
keeps it.
Ah, beautiful. And where I'd like to take us next is how this is your design, and unless some details are goofy or this doesn't
No,
look correct.
there it is.
There you are. Um,
There she is.
yeah, so what, well, okay. So I first connected with you through, I think, in a more depth of a way last year at Human Design, um, or High Desert Human Design Conference. And I experienced your keynote last year. Oh, wait, this isn't, here we are. I experienced your keynote, and then I did that deeper container with you. And I got a sense of,
Mhm,
well, your wisdom, and like this for me is that like powerhouse of the divine feminine.
mhm,
And it, it's like containers that you facilitate or you are wisdom keeping um, is deep. I think my
mhm.
perception is the people who choose to engage can go where they want to go. And me as a deep
That's right.
diver, I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's let's go in there.
Yep.
And I
A
think
woman after
what's
my own heart.
well, and I think what's so cool is back to the wisdom keeper component that you spoke about before of like we're arm in arm. It's like I need to go when I go deep, I want somebody who's like, fuck, let's do this. And
Yep.
my experience of you is you can do that. And then we did session work.
Mhm,
Yeah, and nuggets of that session are still with me. So big fan of Brandy. Um, and I'm leading to asking you the question, how did you and human design find each other? And what I want to speak to as another like shiny moment of why I think you're so epic is I don't know if you remember this in last year's, I think it was your keynote, where you gave the example of what, like, yeah, an example in a room, there's a fire, and then what would the manifester
mhm.
do? What would the generator do? I've transitioned to bringing that to clients, and
Oh, good.
it works. Like it, so I don't know if you want to speak to that or we can just leave that as a bubble that somebody can maybe listen to if they find the audio, but your choice. I'm
Okay.
informing you where I'm excited to go.
Okay, yay, yay. I love that. And what I'm excited about is I haven't said anything like that since then. And there are some things that I've said that have come out of me along this journey that I really loved, these nuggets that I'm like, wow, that was a cool thing I just said. I have this unconscious throat. And so some
Mm,
and these right variables. So when stuff gets pulled out of me, I get just as excited as you do. And so that was one of those things that that again maybe won't ever be repeated because who I was around is how that got pulled.
yeah.
So I love to set that up again. And yeah, and it's really just a basic understanding. For me, it was important for me to understand what my place was, what my role was, why I was valuable in the whole. And so the story of, the building is on fire, what would each type do, helped me understand
Yeah.
a little bit about what my role was. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about being everybody. I can
Mm,
just be me here in this fire, in this chaos of humanity.
yeah. Yeah.
And so let me think. Let me see if I can remember back to that scenario. Okay, things are on fire. And what is going to happen? The manifester is going to start moving. Actually, the manifester probably started the damn fire, if I'm honest, on accident, just by moving too fast or barreling
Ah,
something. And then the manifesting generators respond by probably moving too fast and getting the air moving around the fire, and maybe it swirls a little bit more. And the projectors are sitting there saying, holy shit, there's a fire extinguisher right there. And then the generators are just waiting, they're waiting, they're waiting, they're waiting, and the fire is getting closer, and then they respond. But see, I'm not doing it justice properly, but to know that, this analogy of a fire is, I think, the analogy of this human existence, of all of
mm,
us learning how to be more authentic and loving and heart-centered. All of us learning, wanting to just survive.
mm,
And so to understand that thriving is what our birthright is
mm.
right now.
Yeah.
Uh, the generator understanding that they will not be burnt by that fire if they just respond with their inner wisdom. The manifester knowing that starting that fire was the right thing to do, even though everybody hates it. The manifesting generator who isn't exactly sure what to be doing, but they're running around trying to do it all. That's
Yeah.
the projector seeing the water and seeing the fire and waiting. This is all beautiful. This is all part of the drama, I think.
Mm.
uh anyway, I don't know that came out as it did at the keynote, but
Yeah, it was that there was a fire in the room
okay,
and the
tell me.
manifester was like, bust uses that burst of energy, broke
Yeah.
through the wall, and they're done.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're done.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh, they busted a whole wall. Oh, this is the one of the pops. Okay.
Yeah. And
So
then,
many stories. If there was,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the manifester punches the hole in the wall and then they go sit down.
Yep.
The projector, well, before they go sit down, the projector and the manifester will usually have some kind of, the projector sitting there with the clipboard, and the manifester before they go take a nap is like, oh, that one's got a clipboard. Hey, you got this? And the that guides the generator into building the stairs, right? There's a hole in the wall.
Yep.
We've got elderly and we've got children and we've got everybody here, and they can't get through that hole. So we need the projector standing there saying, holy cow, we need stairs. What if we had a banner? We got to get food on the other side so it smells good and invites people over there.
Yeah.
We've got to get playing. And so this projector has this beautiful vision of how to guide us into the next new world. And the generators are just standing there waiting, like, oh shit, there's a hole, like, oh my gosh, that Brutus punched a hole. How are we going to get in there?
Yeah.
And then the projector is able to know which ones are the proper brick builders, who is the best stair maker, who is the best painter, who is the best musician, who is the best culinary artist, who are of all of these and then gets them to work. And those stairs and the banners and the food that these generators are pouring their beautiful life force into then gets manicured and
Uh-huh.
made more efficient by the manifesting generators when they come in and they're like, yo, I see you building these steps in 10 increments, but let's do it in 6 so that we get to the new world faster, and kinds of gives a new little twist on how to get this accomplished in less steps, this manifesting generator.
Brilliant.
So we're all over the world. We're all over to the other side. We're all eating our pigs in the blanket and listening to, whatever we're eating, listening to the band play, and we're in this new place and it feels really great. And then the reflector comes. And if the reflector comes skipping in, we know we did good. If the
Perfect.
reflector stands there weeping,
Mm,
we haven't done so well.
right. Beautiful.
And when I say well, I don't mean it as a judgment. I mean in alignment with the frequency that inhabits our beings.
Mm,
This is what those reflectors are either joyously skipping about or weeping about, is
mm,
how well did we align with the frequency of our being and our truth and our individuation.
mhm.
I love reflectors for this reflection.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like
Okay.
such a mystical skill, or I don't know if skill is the
Mhm.
right term, but yeah, feels like a mystical offering.
It does. I agree.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, that was fun for me, to
Yeah.
experience both the versions of that because there's nuggets in both. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well,
Thank you for bringing that up again.
oh, you're quite welcome. It's honestly
Mm.
been such a gift and so helpful, when I reference it. And I'm curious, do you want to give us maybe like a couple minutes of, I know it probably could be the whole hour, but a couple minutes of how you and human design found each other? Because your trajectory, which you spoke to in the keynote, is there's a big story there. There's a memoir, there's a documentary,
Yes.
there's all the things.
It it's a 6-line story. It's a
Hmm.
6-line chironic. My Chiron is conjunct my sun, and so it highly aspects my whole incarnation cross. So I am Chiron, not just a 6 line, but my whole existence is that from wounded to healing. And this is what you're speaking of, this story of coming into the world with methamphetamines in my system and being diagnosed failure to thrive and being put in an orphanage and sitting there until someone a foster mother found me and learned I'm touch cognition and caves, um, a calm touch cave.
Mhm.
So she helped me stay in this body and live in this body by feeding me in a dark room while holding me. This is how
Mhm.
she got me to eat food.
Mhm.
This story, that beginning of that story, and the dramatics, not only on my nervous system as an infant, but as in my psyche, has played out continuously. My mother got me back when I was a child, and then I stayed with my mother till I was 14 when I got pregnant with my own child.
Mhm.
I had and was raising 4 children. Right when I graduated high school.
Wow.
I'm the first one in 3 generations to graduate high school, let alone go to college. I took my daughter to school with me every day. I had lots of abuse and trauma and all kinds of things during these stories. But this mythology, this story of Brandy, I feel like I don't own it. I feel like I'm just a watcher of it. I'm a scribe. I feel like I'm a scribe of the story of Brandy, and I feel like we all kind of are. And so s- my job is to see what all of these, watch all these dramas and see, uh, support and become tender to my purpose.
Mhm.
All of these things are such tender, rich soil that helped me be in the dark with you. I am not afraid of the dark. I learned to live in the dark. I got trained by Catholic nuns when I was in fifth grade because I was being abused, and
Mm.
sharing that with these nuns that I used to clean their house for money. They taught me what was called sort of the void. They said, this is this dark feminine that you referred to earlier. This is this place of everything is possible. This is this place of compassionate, open-hearted love, knowing that although I'm watching this man abuse my body, I could see what love saw in his face. I could see why I could see the balm that he was receiving
Mm.
from the use of this body,
Mhm.
even though it was violent and hurt me.
Yeah.
There was a balm that he was receiving.
Mhm.
That is the feminine. The feminine is the ability to go into that dark void and allow everything to exist and see what love sees. That's what my story has brought me to. If I don't see what love sees, I die.
Mm. Mm.
And so that's been my 6-line story. How did I meet human design? I've raised 4 children. And in that raising of 4 children as a manifester, an ego-driven splenic manifester with no other motors, I really had to draw on energy that was not mine to
Mm.
get this done. And so using my biology in a way that it's not meant for made me very sick.
Got it.
Um, the epigenetic structure of my body. You see, when we are following our body's wisdom, it is able to vibrate at a higher rate, therefore hold more voltage. When I am not following my body's wisdom, the vibration comes low and slow. And now it is upregulating dis-ease. It is entropy. There is entropy happening in the system. Energy is leaking from within because I'm not using it properly. So what happened is that triggered lupus in my system.
Mm.
And right after when my children left the house and I finally was able to take an out breath,
Yeah.
my body said, okay, well, now you get to fall apart. And
Mm.
lupus started deteriorating my brainstem and my joints and my body. I just wasn't able to move. Anyone that has an autoimmune disorder can probably understand how this works. So I enrolled myself with my therapist in an assisted suicide program. And I was
Ah.
32 at the time, and my body was just deteriorating. I couldn't, my children wanted to come home and be with me, and they had just left the house, and I had felt like that was counterintuitive to everything that I had just done as a mother, is to have them come back and take care of me. I didn't
Mm.
have. So I enrolled in this program, and I got to work with Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Mhm.
And I learned how to move my cerebral spinal fluid to bless the centers, this energy centers of my body, to bring energy back into them. I sat in meditation, rebuilding my nervous system, cell by cell by cell in meditation, rebuilding it, rebuilding it, rebuilding it, letting these T cells in this body know that it did not have to attack it, that I am here with you, I am here for you. We are here to protect this vessel. And so I had to retrain my body into that, into
Mm.
knowing that it was okay to be here. Um, I got home from Spain and studying with Dr. Joe. My lupus markers had completely changed. I had an insane mystical experience that maybe we could talk about another time, but all I can explain, I've heard it before explained like near death experiences, but
Mm.
I didn't near die, but that's the experience I had, was of a leaving and a coming home.
Mm.
And then when I came home from Spain, I mean, I have a degree in psychology. I have built and sold businesses, franchises. I have raised 4 children. I'm an educated woman, and I thought I knew how to do this. And I came home and knew that I knew nothing.
Mm.
for the first time, this ego manifester got to her knees and said, "What? I don't know how to do this.
Mhm.
I don't know how. How do I be this? I have tried everything I know. Please. I don't, and I did a lot of religious studies when I was younger, and then got into business, and then got into science, and I was able to kind of find God through science, find
Mm.
creator through the quantum. And so I just asked this field that I knew existed. I said, please, I need something. I need something because my best thinking got me here and I'm about to die.
Mhm.
The next day, a man named Jason Norris, who I've never met before, came into my Facebook message box and gave me my chart
Oh.
the very next day. And this is how I met human design. He gave me he gave me that chart, and I started reading about some things that, just like everybody else, some validation, things that I've never said out loud, but I really felt in my body that were bad and wrong and shameful about me.
Mm.
And this human design showed me how it was right and true and valuable. And I was like, oh, there I am, right and true and valuable. I am.
Yeah.
And then I got angry
Mm.
because I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in educational debt under my belt.
Right. Right.
And design is the thing.
You lied to me.
You lied. So I collected probably 300 charts before I told anybody about it because I was trying to prove it wrong.
Got it.
Yeah. I wanted to prove it wrong because I thought there is no way that this is this easy and no one knows about it.
Right.
There's no way that this thing is the thing. And we are all out here suffering.
Mm.
I was angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. But I got over the anger. I got into the surrender. I got into the realization that we all are in this movie, this beautiful movie. And there's nothing to be angry about.
Mm.
And anyway, this is how I found human design. Um, and then it took me, just like everybody else says. It just takes you.
Yeah. And so you're
And
finding it was roof stage, right? I don't know why I just did air quotes, but roof stage of your timeline with being a six profile. Yeah.
right now, I am in my last 7 years on the roof still.
Hmm.
Yeah. Found human design. It was like my first 7 years on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that just feels like that moment, of gathering. I mean, I'm not a six line, but gathering the 300 charts and like, let me sit on the roof and see what this is about. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I created Facebook groups, which now have thousands of people in them
Ah,
because I just wanted to observe. I've got 7 4th lines, but I just wanted to bring everybody into one place so that I could watch them. I
yeah.
just wanted to watch and watch and watch and watch. And I have, and it's been so enlightening. I mean, you should see uh, Richard laughs at me all the time. I have shelves of notebooks of notes that I take. Like this has been
Ah,
an experiment for me.
got it. Got it. Got
An experiment. This has been, I used to tell people, enter into my laboratory
it.
and let me control trigger you. This is what I would say. Let
Mhm.
me control trigger you because what this science does, if you come into my laboratory, is it gives me the outline, the engineer, the blueprint of you so that when I hear something that's not in the blueprint, I'll trigger it and I'll dig at it and I'll bring it to the surface so that
Right.
we can see it's not in the blueprint.
Right.
But I'll do it in a controlled way to where you feel loved and held and allied and
Yeah.
nurtured. And
Yeah, I agree.
that,
That aligns with my experience. Yeah. And what I remember from last year's workshop was the can we restory this?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm a 24/6. I'm going to restory everything.
Perfect.
We are going to know that there are
Yeah.
so many ways to look at it. And it always is. It's such a funny thing to me. We are all here telling stories, all of us. The only thing we are doing is telling stories. Nameh, when you call your mom on the phone or your friend, you're just telling stories. When you come
Yep.
on Facebook, you're telling stories. Right now, we're telling stories. We go to the movies to watch stories. We go to the opera to hear stories. We pick up books to the Akashic is just one big story.
Yep.
All of this, we're all telling stories. And we have 360 degrees of choice when it comes to telling stories.
Mm.
We can perceive it. And that's the gift, I think. There is no choice but perception. And
Mhm.
so, how do you story this experience? How you speak about it, how you send the frequency into the field is how it's experienced.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely resonates. Yeah, I love how you're putting that together. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so this year, speaking about last year's conference, this year you're I'm going to share screen again just so we've got our visuals. Um uh this year your keynote
Hmm.
presenting.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. Do you want to say more about it?
Yeah. I'm excited about this because we are in our fourth line year of the Human Design, High Desert Human Design Conference. And so I am going to bring attention to the opportunity we all have to come together as a community.
Mm.
The opportunity that we have right now to lift and release any bad, wrong, and shameful we have in our hearts
Mm.
toward any other community.
Mm-hmm.
We get to come together as our town square is what I feel fourth line, right? It's our town square. We're
Love it.
coming to the square to meet. And when we come to the square to meet, this tribe comes and this tribe comes and this tribe comes, and we come to the square. This
Yeah.
is the opportunity for us to understand who our fractal is, fall in love with them,
Mm-hmm.
and come to the square.
Yeah.
Come to the square with the understanding that let me suss it out a little bit more. The square is like, the ocean comes and the desert comes and the savanna comes and the forest comes. The forest and the ocean are not symbiotic. They cannot, well, they are in a grander sense, but they cannot live together necessarily, but they can be part of the global community of Earth.
Mm.
We in our human design community, it has been such a small global community, and now it is starting to find its fractal alignment.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to hear teachers that sound like truth to them, and then hear other teachers that don't sound like truth to them. The opportunity we have right now is to surrender and understand there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's so right. In fact, to hear what is truth to you and gravitate to it is following your inner wisdom.
Totally.
We're not making anything wrong. We are moving like our asses are on fire towards what is right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the opportunity we have to, this is a fourth line year. First line, we were, what is this and who am I within it? Second line, we just had a shit show of a fun time, dancing around, projecting and bumping into each other. And it was fun and beautiful and flowing. And then the third line last year, this was kind of a bonds made and broken kind of year, a
Mm.
bump into and moving away. And I don't know if I like this. Let me get comfortable in my own skin. But now we are moving into this transpersonal phase. So we have the opportunity to set the foundation of our fractal truth with an open heart so that when this transpersonal next year comes, we can welcome, invite, host, hold space for other fractals of awareness, of self-actualization,
Yeah.
uh, to take us from having to be on this lower trigram of insecure, and it's about me, and it's about you're wrong and I'm right. Now we are and have this grand opportunity to understand we're all right, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a place here. This fourth line opportunity. I'm kind of giving a little bit of my talk here, but I'm just so excited to talk about the interpersonalness of us coming together,
Mm-hmm.
of understanding in this fourth line that the design Just because I know design doesn't mean I know you.
Totally.
Just because I see your design doesn't let you off the hook for teaching me how to love you.
Yeah.
Just because I know design doesn't mean that I understand your experience.
Yep.
And so in this fourth line year, this is the opportunity for us all to stay open-hearted,
Mhm.
to allow our triggers and feelings of rejection to know that it's alignment, not rejection, that we are aligning, that just because we are a human design community doesn't mean we all see in the same way or are all telling the same story.
Mhm.
So this is an opportunity for us to build the foundation of opening our heart as a human design community. And I'm really excited to talk about that.
Well, and as you're speaking of it, I love it because I had forgotten about that um, data piece or that invitation to think about the conference in its line phase. That's
Mhm.
um,
I think of everything
mind-blowing.
that way. And when we get to the spiral, we'll talk about that. But that's the way I frame everything.
I love it. Well, and what's coming in the I was hearing Ho'oponopono
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
in the yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It is just such a beautiful, it's a foundational opportunity. We've had our first foundation, we've built it. We had our time to flow and to dance. We had our time to experiment. And now it's time to really, like, I always see Care Bears, to Care Bear stare.
That's the best.
And the measure to which we can Care Bear stare is exactly equal to the measure of our self-awareness. So
Yeah,
this is something to know as well as now this is about how do we grow with the other. We have been learning for the last 3 years, how do I grow with myself as myself?
yeah,
Now it's time to take that knowledge and say, okay, how do I do this in community?
right.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to mention some of the pitfalls or the things that we get to look out for,
Yeah.
and then the tools to be able to keep our heart open when we see those fourth line things that make us be mean and shut down and snap at
Mm,
each other. How
right.
to take that rejection and alchemize it into alignment and gratitude.
Awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So if we shift, then I'm going in week order. Um,
Okay.
so your next main stage offering is what I see titled here, The Spiral of Everything. And that's
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
Yes, this is one of my also flagships, like a Wisdom Keeper is, but the spiral of everything is the way the hexagram structure um, is used by creation to
Mm.
develop everything
Uh-huh.
and anything. And so I take you through this spiral in every correspondence in life, from quantum physics to your dating life. And I'll show you the first line themes. Because when we know where we're at on the map, for me, if I'm looking at a map or if I'm feeling lost, I want to look at a map and say, okay, I'm here.
Yep.
And when I know that I'm here, I know where I've been and I can see possibly where I'm going, right?
Yep.
The map isn't the territory, so I don't know exactly where I'm going, but at least I can have some bearings.
Hmm.
This 6 line process is what we're going through with everything from our dating life to our evolution life to the way that our body operates. First, we've got to figure it out and be insecure. Second, we got to play with it and dance. Third, we've got to experiment with it. Fourth, we get to bring community around it. Fifth, we get to change the whole fucking thing. And sixth, we get
Yeah.
to really realize what's next and be that thing. So
Right.
it's happening everywhere. The trees go through it.
Hmm.
Every single thing in the world is going through the 6 lines. So how this helped me is when in my deconditioning, in wanting to follow my splenic authority, but having all of these reasons why it wasn't okay to do that
Yep.
come up, and having to therapize myself and work through all of those reasons why following my body's wisdom was not safe for me.
Mm.
This was one of the greatest tools, because I could see that in my first line phase, I'm supposed to be insecure
Mhm.
versus feeling insecure and trying to go to work on that, trying to figure out why I feel insecure and trying to get into this rabbit hole of I'm wrong for wrong for wrong for wrong, and then trying to work that
Yeah.
out. No, no, I'm supposed to be insecure right now.
Yeah.
In the second line, I'm supposed to be provocative. When I'm in the third line, I'm supposed to make and break bonds. There's nothing wrong with me that I don't want to be near you right now.
Hmm.
So when I know where I'm at on the map, and what I've also done and what I'm going to share is some of the psychological and jackal language is what I call it. If anybody knows nonviolent communication, they
Ah.
know giraffe language and jackal language, and this jackal language that we give ourselves in each of these phases. Um, and how to move through that jackal language. What's the balm or the key to move through that jackal language
Mm.
into something that feels more nurturing to you? So, this spiral of everything is when you can find yourself on the map. It's very shamanic too, because when we can see the trees are in this phase, when we can see the cycles of the moon are, where are they? We can
Yeah.
align ourselves to that geometry, which makes things less resistant.
And there's a way, as you're speaking of it, not to take this too far, but like the transits, how we watch the gates move through the lines. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and not that we're going to use our minds to plan things based on the transits. Wink, wink, anybody who's listening, we don't do that. We follow our body's wisdom into the places and spaces that are for us every single day, and we notice
Hmm.
ourselves lining, and we
Yep.
notice ourselves second lining. And so when we notice this, what happens is our neurology falls more in love with our body. This
Uh-huh.
is the tool. What we're doing is trying to get our minds to stop fighting our bodies, and the him that exists here to fall in love with her, the
Hmm.
him to listen to her quiet direction. And so the more we can give him food, validation, proof,
Hmm.
the more he falls in love with her, and the easier it becomes for him to support and uplift her direction.
Mm. Ooh, that's so juicy.
Mhm. Yeah.
And how beautiful for this conversation to now talk about what's happening Saturday at the Tribal Lounge. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I love shamanic journeys, and they scare me just as much as they scare everybody in the room, if I'm honest with you.
Uh-huh.
So just as nervous as you were when I started beating my drum that first day, that's exactly what's happening through me. Because let me tell you, when I start beating that drum, something comes through me that is not
Hmm.
of.
Yep.
So this sacred breath, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to come out, because I don't want to plan it,
Right.
because I don't want to taint it with anything. But the last one that you attended, we brought up a dilemma
Hmm.
that we have with a loved one. And we
Hmm.
saw the mythology in the planet placement, how that person that we held bad, wrong, and
Right.
shameful was no such thing as bad, wrong, or shameful. We were able to see with our minds. We were able to give him the food that said, wait, that story could be different.
Mm-hmm.
And then the drum started. And then we got into our bodies. And then she asked us to remove everything through the breath that stopped him from being able to support her.
Mm-hmm.
And what we experienced was shouts and vomits and births and just snot and phlegm and
Yeah.
what had to come out came out.
Hmm.
And that's what the sacred breath is. And the theme this year, because it is a fourth line year, is the breath. Because the fourth line, a fourth line profile, the fourth line experience is led by breath. A fourth line, when a fourth line is moving from kindness to meanness, you will
Ah.
notice a shortness of breath.
Hmm.
When a fourth line is in its fullest magnificent expression, it is breathing all the way into its perineum.
Mm-hmm.
When it's trying so hard and being inauthentic, it's, we like me, you like me, don't you like me? It's this thing. So the breath, bringing that breath all the way into each cell of our body and having it collect what is untrue. And then we're just going to move it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Well,
this is.
I'm marking that on my calendar. I will be there. Um, and I'll say what I loved. Can I speak about the a component you did last year, or does that feel like it's crossing? I'm gonna cry. When you came around and anointed us with oils, like I can't say the word yang yang, like I don't know where the L goes in that,
Bang, bang.
but
That's
I
what it
had
was.
to buy some. So whenever I'm having a tender day, I'm like, oh, Mama Brandy, because I feel you
Oh,
such a mama bear. Like I don't know if you identify that way, but that's how I experience you. And it was like, because the journey I experienced was very powerful, and it was sexy and it was sensual and it was eruptive and movement, and to know that that part of me also receives love, that that part of me also can be anointed
mhm.
and held. And yeah, so that was a very beautiful part that I still I continue to embrace or carry forward.
And
Yeah.
what I hear you say, I've never had a mama, and I have become the mama I think that I
Mm.
wanted.
Ah.
I give what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've had to learn how to mother the bigness in me.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to let her and all of these pieces and parts exist. I was just talking to my beloved yesterday about this, that it feels as if, these shadows, we call them, sometimes they're like smoke. They come in and they make themselves seen and then they go away before you can grab them.
Yeah.
What I feel like a gift that I have been given in this chironic body is that these smokes of shadow get to live right next to me,
Mm-hmm.
be with me, because they stand with me in the feminine. They stand next to me as exactly what is needed to impact change now. And so the wanting them to come and go away and come and go away, I have had to mother myself to have them stand strong next to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful. And as you're saying that, I don't mean to make light of this, but I'm getting this image of like, when a smoke at a concert comes, it's
Yeah.
like let that drama envelop me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Let the drama envelop you. We only think it's drama because it is the unknown, because
Right.
we cannot see. But let me share with you that when I don't have to see it,
Mm-hmm.
it is guardianship, not
Mm.
drama.
Yeah.
It is a council
Mm.
of energy that is here to demand your purpose be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a pretty potent thing to be able to live in the void of yourself.
Yeah. 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 And what a gift for those who choose to engage
Mm,
you to support that. Truly.
thank you.
Yeah.
And it helps practically, right? When we get the stuff out of our
Mm.
bodies, our cells are vibrating with skin those stories and let them go. The vibration of the water in our bodies changes, and it's
Mm-hmm.
able to hold more voltage. It's able to hold more joy. It's able to
Yeah.
hold more success, a capacity for more relating.
Yeah. Yeah, there's less to like hold, like the basket has more space. Yeah,
Right.
to receive
Right.
and add to it. Well, that feels like a beautiful transition to speak to the Sunday
Yeah.
offering.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so now, once we know how to follow the rhythms of our
Mm,
body, and now we're allowing all of us to exist, all of those pieces and places that we thought were bad and wrong, that the experiment has now brought us into seeing the value of, that's wonderful. That feels great. That first 7 years, you're standing on the hill and you're like, I've got this. And then you get to relate. And
hmm.
nothing. You get to start all over again in the spiral, right? Because the
Right.
first 7 years is taking you from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by yourself. Now you're coming into relating with another.
Mm.
And so the understanding that you're not going to be able to do it right the first time. The understanding that there are some beautiful tools that can be put in place. What this talk is going to be is between Richard and we are going to share our sixth line
Mm.
adventure. We came together knowing that neither one of us wanted a traditional relationship,
Uh-huh.
but the geometry and connection made it so that we couldn't stay apart from each other. And so we had to figure this out.
Mm.
I had been single. He had been, we're at six lines. We want individuation. We want full authentic expression, not compromise in relationship. And we hadn't been able to find something that wasn't compromise.
Mm.
And so we came together and promised each other that we would not compromise, that this would be a relationship of full support of individuation, that where his energy moved him, I wanted to give unconditional love. I want to unconditionally love wherever his energy moves, and he gives me the same.
Mm.
Easier said than done.
Mm. Mm.
Way easier said than done. We are watching these silent expectations, all of the unconscious things that live within our body from where we came from, come up and confront each other in this relationship. And we have committed to nervous system regulation. We have little tools, little code words that we put in place when either one of us can see the inner child come up.
Mm.
We have we have little things that we have developed over this past year and a half that have supported not only our deep love, but our singular individuation,
Mhm.
our spiritual evolutions.
Mhm.
This nine centered as a six line relating has been something I've never experienced before. And so we go on Signpost every week, just as
Uh-huh.
vulnerable as could be, and be transparent about the week before. And we talk about, gosh, this is what came up in our relationship last week.
Mm.
Uh, this is the tool or the thing that we learned, and
Mm.
here's maybe what you can do to stay awake and aware in your relationships too.
Wow.
Um, this is about understanding that relationships come together for the evolution of our story, not for anything else.
Mm. Mhm.
Uh, so we're going to talk about relating, and we're going to talk about being our individuated self through the expectations of relationships. What does it look like that the 19 is going away?
Mm.
What does it look like that this awareness of what my energy usage is in the field is the new sex? Like it is the new sensuality. It is the how do I use myself? How am I here? And I want to share that with you.
Mhm.
That's how to be sensual. Not let me give you my body so I can have something else. There's
Right.
a paradigm shift that is happening.
Wow.
Uh, and we want to help be the role models. We don't know exactly what we're doing. We're flying by the seat of our pants just like everybody else, but I think evolving out loud is one of
Mhm.
the most valuable things we could do for our community,
Mm.
is letting people see the evolution, to know it's not all pretty, to know that I'm not just some guru that has it all right all the time. In fact, I never do. And most of the time, I am looking a little estranged and chaotic until I can regulate myself and come back into the truth.
Right. Right.
And that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to look.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and as you're speaking about it, I'm sensing that like arm in arm experience again,
Mhm.
you and Richard
Absolutely.
together. Yeah.
Absolutely. We are learning because in this relationship, some of the deepest wounds I have get triggered. And
Right.
so if we're imaging that and he's holding my arm, my legs can come out from under me just fine. And he's got me for a minute, but
Hmm.
my legs come out from under me in this relationship.
Hmm.
And so be unconditionally loved when I can't stand up
Right.
is one of the most valuable things that I've experienced. And the reason that we get that, the reason that we do that is not because I expect it from him.
Right.
It is because he stands tall as a pillar of his own
Mm.
without any expectations from me and a desire to be my fucking ally,
Right. Wow.
energy in his body to be my ally,
Wow.
not
Beautiful.
expectation or demand.
Ah, so yummy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if we transition to, so this will happen on the final day of the conference.
Yes.
And so now our brains is going to do a bit of a shifty shift to before the conference begins. And if you
Yes.
want to speak to again how you and Richard are coming together and offering a deep dive on these 2 days for an
Yes.
outside of the bucket of the conference as a paid workshop. Yeah.
We are the 2 days before the workshop, and we thought this would be a beautiful opportunity for people to have an embodiment experience before they go to the conference to take
Yeah.
in all the wonderful practitioners.
Yeah.
Now, we do, I'm sure everybody that's listening has heard of the Living Your Design course. What we have done is taken that IHDS LYD certification course and expanded it to
Mm.
include immersion and embodiment and integration. So when we learn about a center, logically, Richard is going to teach the brain about the center, and then I am going to take the body and bring that education into the body.
Mm.
Uh, and have the experience of you moving into your mechanics and having a felt sense of them inside of your body.
Mm.
The reason that we thought that this was going to be incredibly valuable, not only to get that living your design um, education, but also to be embodied when you sit in the very
Yeah.
first session. Because what we know is that this information can go into our brains and it can be categorized in a little file like we do, or
Right.
we can let it explode the cells of our body with a new truth.
Right.
And that's the opportunity that we wanted to give people, is to allow them to be so embodied that when they go in to listen to these practitioners, that
Mm.
they get the truth of their transmission into the cells of their body, without having to be filtered through the mind over days. You know how that goes. We
Wow.
thought that might be a great opportunity.
Yeah. And
And
the
so it will
other,
be
oh, sorry, go ahead.
So it will be 2 days in a
Mhm.
beautiful
Yeah.
setting, top of a hill,
Yeah.
looking out at the Santa Fe ski valley.
Mm.
You will be held by us. You will be educated, you will be nurtured, you will be fed, you will leave this experience. I am a desire motivated
Mm.
Taurus Cancerian, like it's going to be, you're going to be held. You're going to leave there feeling tender and luxurious
Hmm.
and integrated. You will, I'm sure I will trigger some things that you didn't know existed in your body that you get to go sit in conference now and feel
Mm.
that
Mm.
with the people around you. I just think it's a kickstart. It's a jump start. You want to do this? All right, let's do
Yep.
this.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saddle up, even though I don't like the idea of the horse image, but yeah,
Of the
that,
horse. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But here we go.
here we
And
go.
something else I want to add too that I think is valuable is the yin and the yang aspect. I talk about the him and the her.
Right.
And so I think our education, our experiences, everything that we come together to develop within ourselves gets to be given in the yang and the yin form.
Mm.
And Richard is very yang, very masculine, very logical, very able to give you the practical structure of why this is important.
For sure.
And then going to take you into the magical right brain, the more abstract of why, even though it's logical, why it won't work for you or
Right.
why it hasn't for you or what is standing in the way of that truth being integrated into your body. We're going to send that away.
And then the other piece that I wanted to point to, I love that you named the space, because as
Hmm.
we've talked, this is something I'm considering signing up for, and open G or undefined G. I want it to be a luscious
Yeah.
space. And the
Yes.
pictures look like, whoa, I need to be there. And the other component that I'm curious if you want to speak to is the size. So, is it unlimited spaces? Are people who maybe are watching this interview who might be accessing via the remote access? Will it be
Hmm.
available for that type of audience, or is it only for butts in the seats?
For butts in the seats. That's interesting. Okay, so start at the beginning. It is a limited space, not unlimited. I'm gonna say for the comfortability that I want, maybe 10 people,
Okay.
15 people max.
Hmm.
Um, because I want you to have space. I want you to have your a mat and a place and a to feel not like we're sitting.
Hmm.
You're coming into my home and you're
Mm.
being a guest with me.
Mm.
So you will have your space and it will be comfortable.
Mm.
Um, and will it be available for an online crew? I can do that. Will the experience be as impactful as being in my aura with my drum? Probably not. But I think that it could be magical. I'm going to talk to Richard, and that's a great idea. So if you are interested in connecting to this immersion in an online fashion, I would love to know
Mm.
so that and maybe I can use some energy to build that for you.
Cool. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and and in some ways, I'm kind of seeing the yes and of this, just in
Yeah.
a, yeah, because just straight transparency, sometimes offerings I step away because of my undefined G. I want what's
Hmm.
there, and that
Hmm.
container, something about it doesn't feel quite right. So I want that removed dynamic. So I could
I understand.
see, for me,
Hmm.
not feeling that towards you. But if I was feeling that around this container, I wanted the experience, but I wanted it in a bubble that felt better for me.
Yeah.
I could see the remote
Oh,
being kind of juicy.
yeah, I can too. And I have microphones and cameras and all the things. So we definitely can make that happen.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. So
I,
close. Yeah.
it is so close. It's so close. We're thrilled.
Mm.
We are excited to present together.
Mm.
We are excited to feel it's kind of starting to feel like it's the fractal is coming together. It's starting to feel like I can feel my 6 line role in this fractal
Ah.
and and it's feeling welcoming and
Mm.
I'm really excited to show up as me.
Yay. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So it sounds like there's a lot here for all of us
Mhm.
to engage with. And I put on some of the slideshows your Instagram, but it sounds like you're also
Mhm.
on Facebook. Do you have a preference, or does either work?
Either works right now. I am hacked out of my Facebook accounts. So I've
Okay.
been working on it for a couple of days. Somebody's gotten in there and took over my stuff.
Oh no.
So yeah. So you Instagram is great for now. Just
Cool.
I don't know what's going to be happening with the Facebook, but Instagram is brandy.wisdomkeeper. We also have the Human Design Hub.
Hmm.
And it is the Human Design Hub on Facebook and on Instagram. And this is our coming together, our emerge by design, which with
Hmm.
Richard and I. where he is bringing the mythology, the astrology, and
Right.
I'm bringing the shamanic deconditioning into the container.
Yeah, because I was seeing, I don't know if this continues, but your transit reports that you all
Mhm.
is that continuing?
Yes, we are doing, well, Richard does the Monday report
Mm.
that follows the chart for the week, and then he and I do the moon report. Um, it's something that we're developing that we have found, a lot of people follow the sun in the transit, but
Mm.
to follow the
Mm.
moon is to follow our emotional bodies. Our emotional
Ah.
bodies is what is being asked to be developed and evolved right now through the solar plexus awareness mutation. And
Mm.
so to understand that we are shifting from masculine sun, putting all of our attention to him and the sun, into now putting some of our attention into her,
Ah. Uh-huh.
moon.
And
Mhm.
that's available, like I've heard you reference Signpost, but it's also those are also available on YouTube, true?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
on
cool.
Emerge by Design or the Human Design Hub on YouTube.
Cool.
Those are for free there. Hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, honey, is there anything to give voice to in your powerful way before we
Yes,
transition to goodbye?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
please.
I want to take the opportunity to thank you
Hmm.
for not only these interviews and the energy that you bring to
Hmm.
enlivening us, right? You're seeing us, these
Hmm.
speakers, and you're allowing us to see ourselves. And I think
Hmm.
that is so valuable before we come in and serve our community.
Hmm.
To remember, I can derive confidence from inside of my body as this fully ego being, but what I see you doing is
Hmm.
giving it, like,
Hmm.
okay, we got this team, we got this team, look at what we're going to do together. And so I
Thank
just want
you.
to thank you.
Hmm.
uh
Yeah, that feels really
thank you.
sweet. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
been really sweet. Yeah, like when Jonah put it out there, are there any volunteers for the interviews? I was like, can I do them pre? Because to me, like I want to taste. I'm taste cognition and
Yeah.
PHS. Like I want to taste everybody, feel a sense of who they are, and perhaps there are others out there who want that. And um I love the shit out of everybody that I'm interviewing. So it's also another beautiful moment of like my rainbows and sunshine cheerleady self, like love
Yeah.
fountaining on people. Yeah. Yeah, it's been really fun for me.
It feels good. It feels really good to be
Mm.
invited into my magnificence. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much. What a gift. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm excited to see you.
Same, 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 same. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, good morning. I love your cherry blossom grove.
Yeah, it's one of those, I don't know if you remember in my place, that like big,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I replaced it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Oh my gosh. So it's way better than a background. Way
Cool.
better.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I wanted something more feminine in my bedroom because before it was the
Yeah.
water feature. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Those are
mean, not that water is
beautiful.
not feminine, but blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.